That's not right. Coming in the back. No, it's not.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll forgive you this time. Welcome back. We are now joined by the driver of the number 7 GoDaddy.com Chevrolet, Danica Patrick. Welcome back
Thank
to
you.
Daytona. I believe this is your third time here, so the one track that you've run the most in your NASCAR career here at Daytona with the third running, and hopefully tomorrow. 14th here in February. 6th start this year in the Nationwide Series, and your first since you finished 10th at Chicagoland a few weeks back. Talk about what's been going on in between and how you've prepared to get back in the car here at Daytona.
Yeah, it's, I'm in full swing with the IndyCar season. Toronto next weekend is halfway for us in the season in IndyCar, so I suppose I've done more IndyCar races now than NASCAR for the year. So we were in Iowa, we were in Milwaukee, and Texas with the interesting doubleheader. So just been busy with that stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like everything happens during the season, but nothing totally different other than just racing cars happens. So if those are curious how I've been doing, I will go into detail, or you can look it up, I guess.
Well, we'll give you that chance to do that.
I'm sure if I would have won any of them, I'd have told you that, but since I didn't feel any necessarily highlights.
There have to be some highlights out there. So if you'd like to ask Danica about those, raise your hand, please. We've got the wireless mic. We'll bring it to you. Give us your name and affiliation before you ask.
Danica, Sean Akers, Anthem Media Group. I'm going to throw you a curve right away. Can you talk about racing at Richmond and what it's like, what it's going to be like compared in a stock car compared to an Indy car? And the second part of that question is being part of that honoring our heroes deal. Can you please talk about that and what that's going to mean to you? Yeah,
well, GoDaddy has done a special paint out for the Richmond race in tribute to 10 years since September 11th. So the car has got ribbons and 300 stars and, all kinds of intricate little things to honor those people who were lost and who helped recover everything. So it's a special race for sure, and I think it's going to be significantly different than it is in an IndyCar. It's flat out in an IndyCar in qualifying. So, Richmond in an IndyCar is I don't know, 17 seconds, something like that. So it's 16 seconds maybe even or so. But anyway, it's extremely fast. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of braking, especially for turns 1 and 2. So yeah, it's I have a visual for it. I have a feel for the way that the banking works in turns 1 and 2 and kind of flattens off on the exit, and how 3 and 4 is definitely the push end of things because it's such a long corner. So it'll be interesting to see how the lanes develop there in a stock car versus an Indy car, and if you end up running second or third lane. So I'll have to figure all that out.
Go Dwight, then Bob Pockris, and Mark Dakotas.
Dwight Drum, Racetake.com. Danica, as far as the sponsorship with GoDaddy was reported being, sold, supposedly whatever's going on there, how does that influence your thinking at all, or is that just a little bump in the road for you? Sponsorship is so tough these days.
I don't know. It doesn't affect my day. Hasn't affected my day. Still working with all the same people, and I don't know if is it true? Did it sell? Speculation. You all know how that stuff works. You're like the kings and queens of it here. So, I guess unless I hear from Bob and he tells me that it's been sold, it's all speculation till that point. And, yeah, so for me, it's all status quo.
Pockris, SceneDaily.com. I was kind of going to ask the same thing. Have you talked to Bob at all about that? I mean, the reports say that he'll likely remain as CEO if there is a sale. So have you talked to him about that? And would it impact your racing program?
I remember this came up at the early part of the year, and he called and told me that it wasn't true, and that was it, and then went along. So I haven't heard from him about it. I don't know if that means it's being done, if it's not going to be done, and perhaps they don't know that answer either. So I guess that's perhaps why it's still in speculation mode, as opposed to reported true or reported false. So, and will that affect my relationship with them? I don't know. It might not change anything. It might change everything. I'm not really sure. But like I said, right now for me, it's just status quo with them, and just trying to do a good job for them and represent them well.
Danica, Mark Decotis from Florida Today here. Tomorrow night will be your 130th start in totaling 5 different series over 7 years or whatever. Can you talk about how you've changed both as a driver and as a person over those 130 races? Thank you.
Where do I start? No, I guess the first one is hopefully as a person, hopefully I haven't changed much at all. I would hope. I guess I think that's always someone in my position that's been lucky enough to get as much attention as I have and success and as much, means have come my way. You'd hope that you hear from your friends and family that you're really no different. So I guess they could only answer that question. I don't feel any different. I do buy more expensive wine, so that's one thing. But and I bought a couple pieces of art. I don't know, maybe that's another thing. But anyway, things I thought were useless back when I was young. But as a driver, I'm sure I've evolved on a lot of different levels, the first one probably being that I used to be a lot more, hot-headed and, a little bit more outspoken, maybe a little bit more fiery. And, sometimes I kind of miss that part of me coming out, but then other times, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of drama associated with it just to be yourself. So, that's kind of changed, and I think my driving style's changed a little bit too, In fact, I actually would say that as I've gotten older, I've learned to probably tap into more of the aggression side of me as a driver, as opposed to the maybe the more methodical side that's still there, but maybe the more conservative part of me that wants to finish races and not crash, So I think that I've actually become more aggressive at certain points. There's always a time and a place for it, but I think that's actually something I've done a little bit more of as I've gotten older.
Other questions? Got Jeff Gluck and then Lee Spencer, please.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. Danica, seems like pretty much everybody, speaking of speculation, right? Everybody seems like they think you're coming to NASCAR full time. When are we going to know? When are we going to find out? When are you going to tell us?
I don't know if that's going to happen yet. Obviously I'm racing in NASCAR, and I've made it I've not made anyone wonder whether or not I like it, but other than that, these things, as I've said from the beginning of the year, are complicated, and they take time, and whether I'm coming here or not is yet to be signed, sealed, and delivered, and I might not be. Only time will tell, and that timeline on my side of things is, I'm really not sure. It's all I know is that I just am told that I have a job to do in the car, and you do your job, and we'll do our job, and they fill me in from time to time, but it's it's still only July. So. It comes down to my gut and my desire, and where I feel like I'll be the happiest, and where I feel like I'll be able to have the most success. And then from those thoughts, then my team explores the options. And so it always starts with where I want to be.